season 3, just called That Day again. So we might go back to Shiganshina again in a flashback and learn more about Grisha. Or as last time we saw in the little flashback thing, he also had a That Day like Grisha had. So we might see some terrible artist people alike stuff. So let's just see where we go and see what exactly it's about. Perhaps we might learn what time it is, like is it the 19th, like 1920, 1930? What is it close to the place where we were last time in the little tease? But yeah, let's just hope for some information. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I was about to say ring the bell, but no, don't do that. I think I have so many different things coming up that it might annoy you. But yeah, don't forget to consider supporting me on Patreon. I assume season 4 is already up there right now in parts when you see this on YouTube. But yeah, don't forget to join the Discord to discuss more great anime stories and stuff. And yeah, let's just go. Have some fun. Here we go.
Doch ich frag mich, wer wir sind.
So apparently we start with that day that Grisha had. Just one bad day. Yeah, the clothes. Yeah, see, they have cars. I knew they have cars. I knew it. And they have, I mean, yeah. Yeah, the truth of this world. What's it gonna be? What's gonna be your truth? So there's something like a church in the background as well. Oh, that's such a nice... And the music is also so eerie. Reminds me a bit of Hans Zimmer. Oh yeah, they're looking at them. Because, yeah. Okay, so it's not Artist Youth confirmed. It is indeed a play on the Star People from, you know, because I think that's how it started. They were put into certain living areas and they had to wear the badges. And later in the not holiday encampments, they were forced to wear them on their, like, reverse. I don't know what it's called. But one thing I would say here is, it's like, if he doesn't know that people think of them like that here, that is weird, because this must have been going on for so long at least that he has learned not to go outside his designated living area. Like, he has learned that, like, he knows that, so he's been socialized by his mother to not do that, so he doesn't know anything outside. Again, the same situation as in the walls. Perhaps they like the prison they put in the people of Maria, Rose, and Zina, or whatever that area is called, that they implemented in here with people as well. But yeah, I wonder what the reason is why they have these star things. Like what is their reason for putting them in a certain area? Like here, is it like, it seems to be like the vermin and devil bloods. So perhaps they are originally from the walled area. I will just call it that, in like we spent all seasons at. I will just call Zina, Maria, Rose the walled area now, so you know what I'm talking about. And I know it might get confusing with this walled area they have here as their living quarters. So I will say living quarters and walled area. I will try to do that to not confuse you. I probably already confused you right now. So they might be from the walled area, and that's why their bloodline might be seen as bad, because they were the people initially creating, or not creating, sending out the Titans. Perhaps they not know the Titans here. But yeah, people seem to really despise them, but I also think not as much as I would have expected here. Like, he's just a bit of a dick. I think people reacted more harshly, but I don't completely know actually there's something I want to talk about, and I hope I will find a place here that someone told me that their grandfather told them. It was when I talked about, asked around a bit about what people thought when they lived in these times in Germany, because I was like, yeah, you probably would be interested in that. And I asked around, and some people told me some stories, and some I hope I will give you here in some situations where they fit. Anyway, let's see how this acts. Aliens crawling around us. There is aliens. So, okay, so sorry, I made a fuss out of nothing, so I will not call it world people. I will call it aliens now. So, the Zina Maria Rose people are called aliens, apparently. Okay, so he does know. Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood it then. So he does know what's it's about. Sky. Yeah, this thing here. It's too small. I do think... It's funny because I talked about this last time. Like, I think there were hangars like this, but this is a small one. Like, it would be like this. Do you see my mouse? I hope you see my mouse. Like, it would be at least this. Like, it would be like this big here. Like, from here to here and double the height. But I might think of a construction place and not a, like, hangar. So, but yeah. Yeah, you know what, the height might be almost right, but, like, not the, like... Yeah. Liberio internment zone. Liberio, I think, is something to do with freedom, which is perverse, of course, but let's see your exit permit. Uh-oh. Oh, God. What does that mean? Okay. Oh God, I'm so anxious because I know what they did. Really did. This is not as bad as I thought. It will probably be a harsh beating. He owns up to it as well. That's nice. These people are like, that's interesting. They are matter-of-factly about it. I need more the way they act, because I don't think people were matter-of-factly on this. At least he allows that. I mean, this is, don't Kruger, okay. Interesting, so it's still German? Why? So we're not in America, I guess. So Kruger or Krüger, like you would say Krüger, but the U with the double dots is often not known in Japan a lot. So he's called probably, but Kruger is also named, like Diane Kruger, you know her. But yeah, so honestly, they just beat the child, and that sounds so horrifying. But man, you know what other stuff they did. You know what they did. Like, this is tame, and I hate that it is. And they saw the airship, like, you know, wouldn't you say that this is somehow... I know this is really fricked, but I mean, it's not like, if you never saw this and this is beauty and you are like, you know what, I calculated this in a bit. I don't know. Aliens without one are sent to their paradise, even if they are kids. So this might mean two things. First of all, paradise again. And the thing, so I just had a rapid thought chain. I tried to replicate it here, so bear with me. So I saw paradise. I thought of Uri and the king bloodline, and they wanted to build it. They might know that. So my first thought was, people are sent to LDR when they like do stuff wrong, like, and it's like as I said, it is a glorified torture prison. Then it is. I was right. I was right on that. That LDR is a torture prison. Like the world thing is a torture prison, so to speak. And then I thought about it, and then I thought about Emir. And I thought that people had similar uniforms when they took Emir. So it might have been an Eldian cult that Emir was. Like, so they were like, Emir has the bloodline of the king from Eldia, and the people from Eldia need some belief or something to still exist and to live in this world, because obviously like they're living in these living quarters or whatever, or perhaps somewhere else in little villages that are like shut off or something. And I assume Emir's people were like Eldians as well, like Grisha was here, and they were turned into titans. And like so the punishment, so paradise might be turning them into titans, and that would be so fricked. That would be so fricked. So let's see. Yeah. What? Oh. Yes, that is good depiction, I think, actually. And I think that's the sad and horrifying thing. It is this normal people theme again. As I said, like in this one book I mentioned at the beginning of the season, Ordinary People. These people, most of them are like the people you know. Like, don't make any mistake. The people that were in artist Germany, most of them were like the people you right now know and you are. Like, it was, in quotation marks, just the corruption of an idea that spread into them, but it didn't completely determine their everyday life. Like, for example, I can give a story here. I can give a story here from the time that I heard. So this is a story from a woman I heard. A woman I admired a lot, and she unfortunately did pass away last year. And she was one of the most intelligent, a very kind-hearted person. She was very like empathic, and she grew up in that time. Like, she was about 18 when Germany fell, you know. So she was there in the time where you could say like she understood some stuff. And every time she talked about the fall of Germany, like, and it going away, what she was concerned with was always, it was so remarkable to me, because it's like, it's normal, it's something very, very normal. And I think she said, I was so mad that I had to go to school another year, and I can't go to university yet. That was her biggest gripe, really. Like, it really pissed her off with the fall. And like, what I want to say with it is, she was she's a completely normal person, and she was not like one of these people that did hurt people. And many people did not really hurt the people. And some have said after the that is also something, and again, this is anecdotal stuff. Some of the people I talked to, so the rhetoric officially in Germany is often, very often, we didn't know, we didn't see it like that. That was basically what many people officially say often. It wasn't me, also. But if you asked them, some of them at least, behind closed doors, they knew. Like, they didn't know perfects. So it wasn't like everyone knew that there were camps of bad kind, but many people suspected it so strongly that they were pretty sure that something was going on. So it was like that. So the darkness was in their lives. Like the corruption was there, like the corruption I spoke of. But in general, most of the people living in Germany, they were normal people still that had the corruption in their hearts. And sometimes it bubbled up in their everyday life, as far as I understood it. And again, this is anecdotal, but I tried to ask some people to give you some insight. And for example, as well, it will probably not come up, and if it will, you will have had it here. And there was another story. So you might know if people were in Grischer's age in Germany, like before or during the war. There was this thing called the artist youth. And you know, of course, what artist means. But it was basically a club everyone went to. Like it was a community, like a state-run club. So it was very state-oriented. The afternoon activities. It was done by the artist people mainly, and it was like basically they sold it as exercises and activities, but they did like war training and prepare them and indoctrinate them a bit, the people. And I always thought that so I always thought that people saw it like this. They are at this place, there's this pressure, there's something they might not like, or there might be something where they are really like, yes, this is our cause or something. And another person told me that their grandfather, who was in that youth, actually took it as a normal free time activity. And he said something, he told me something that happened sometimes, which is like, blew my mind, and I don't know if it'll blow yours, because it was not what I expected. So there was a day when he was like, I'm not going to go there because I don't want to go there. It's like not wanting to go to school. And the people from that place, they came to his house like, come on, man, come with us. Like they weren't forcing him. They were using this peer pressure thing to get him to come. Like it's gonna be fine, we're gonna have fun. Like it's almost, I feel like, sounded like people were when I when celebrating with people in the evening at university. Like, come on, man, come with us. You know, it was like that, and it was so low level that I was shocked by that. Like when I heard that, because I pictured it differently as well. And I mean, I'm from this country, but so. And I know this has been a giant tangent. And I just want to say, these people, they are more normal than you think. And with normal, I don't mean this thought poison they had. Of course, I don't mean that. I hope you understand that. But it wasn't their whole thing. It wasn't their being. Like these people, the artist people, and the people following them, so to speak, they were not completely drowned in this ideology completely, and that is so scary. It just was bubbling up in certain places for most people. And of course, the more the war came, the more people were bombed and lost their homes. And like I could tell you a lot of that technically as well. I will probably not do it here, but there was a lot of stuff there as well. And that was when they got pissed and when they went a bit more to war, because it threatened their homes. But there was propaganda, and that is why, and I'm sorry for this a bit longer thing, but I think it was necessary here. This person talking to him like this is exactly that. He's like, if he did not have that uniform, and if the beating had not happened just now, this is a nice dude talking to a kid, being like, hey, this is a cool thing, let's look at it. Like, and this is so scary. I think this is one of the most scariest scenes. Like this scene, him talking to Grisha like this, is one of the most scariest things in this anime. Because there is so much in this that people, I think, do not know. And the terrible thing is, if you look at this, you might think this man is a kind man for doing this. Like talking to him despite the armband. And like, I don't know, but I probably have to admit, I only don't think that because I know what is behind this, like how the people were, and that this is how it was. These were the main people that you encountered, that were artist people. It was not like the depictions in media. It was not like that at all. It was like exactly this person. Those were the artist people. Mainly, like, of course, they were the extremists. They are always there, and they are the ones that led the wars, and they are the ones that fought for the great guy, the great artist guy, the most. But there are, like, most people in Germany, as far as I know, take it with a grain of salt. And I think that's the scary part. They were like this person. They would beat up a child. They would. Like, they would just beat up an innocent child for a thing he wears on his wrist, but in the same way they would also be like, hey, let's watch some airships. And I think that's disgusting. And I think that's very, 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 very terrifying. And I actually am staying on this little scene here because I think this is one of the most terrifying things of authoritarian regimes in general, but of painted Germany in particular. Because in media, the artist people mostly are portrayed very obviously evil. Like, you know they're evil immediately when you see them in depictions. But this is the right depiction for most people, and I think that is something you should not disregard, and that's even more scary. And I think this is a lot scarier, actually, in some ways, than the person being like, let's raise our hand to a certain person and go, shoot some people in the head. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this as well. Like, also, if you are a German and have great-grandparents that told you stuff, would you say that is an apt assessment I just made? Or would you say, no, that was not enough evidence, like not enough people you asked or something? But also from the psychological literature, it also fits, like the ordinary people thing, it just fits. It's the ordinary person that's corrupted, and the corruption will sometimes go through, and they will like hit children or beat up elderly people or throw them somewhere or pee at them or whatever. But normally they just live their life. It's so terrible. Anyway.
妹は翌日、川で発見された。
Oh, what the fuck, why?
私があの子を送ったのはレベリオの手前までだ。仕事ユダヤ人の子供が許可もなく町をうろつくのが悪い。
You know what? What the terrible thing is, he might be right. Like, no, I'm sorry, right is not the wrong word. He might be truthful. He might be just different. You know what, girl? It's over there. I don't care. Like, why should I escort this little a person that I consider beneath me, and I have a job to do? I probably have like work to do. Even though let's look at the situation. He was there looking for the airship, and he had a job to do. He probably was like lazing off. So he like went with the girl. He was like, this is not something I would like. Lazing off, okay, not working, but normally I have to work, so can't care for this child. I think that's, again, also terrible. I don't think this is the guy that did it. So he probably sent this little girl off, didn't care for her. Like, this not caring is so terrible here for me. Not caring. Like, just sent away. Like, it's like saying to a little child, like, of 6 years old, you know what, go through that alligator swarm, I don't really care for you. And then there will be the people, and then she will encounter the 10% or 20% I was talking about that really were like what you would imagine. And they got that girl, and no one cared. No one cared. They didn't step in. Because, as I said, most people wouldn't do it, but they will not stop it either. What a brilliant little, like... Yeah, sins of the ancestors. I knew that man from Mali Public Security was lying through his teeth. That's weird. I get that. And I get that you would read that scene on the surface level like exactly like that this dude did it. Because he also looks a bit like there's this, like, not lust, this... Like he looks a bit like someone who enjoys himself sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I don't know why. So yes, that might also be. But I think it was probably like he was probably right. No, I'm sorry, it's not right. It's the wrong word. I just confused right and truthful here. He was probably just not caring. I actually think, but I get Grisha here. I would have assumed it as well. Like if I hadn't listened to people from that time, I would have thought this dude like took the girl away and did that. But knowing the stuff, I think it's worse than that. I think that's worse. Like people not caring, and in addition to people like doing stuff like he might have done here. Like he might have done it. Yes, he also might have done it. We don't know. We don't know. Yeah. So Marley Public Security. Marley. Isn't Marley from Christmas Carol anyway? Yeah, see? See? But I don't think Grisha has thought this through completely. But again, I think from a surface level perspective, that is exactly what I think you can assume happened. But I think it's more terrible. So, and again, tell me, what do you think? Like, I think both possibilities are true, but what do you think is more likely? That this dude is a swine? Or that he really didn't care and the swines came for that girl? I don't know. So mother grieved? Yes, of course she did. Oh God. He's sort of protecting his son here. Oh my God, this is gonna be an hour. I'm so sorry. Oh God, that's so much I think about right now. First of all, parallel to Eren, this hate. It is similar. The hate Eren has for Titans, he has the same look on his face when he talks about Titans as his father is talking about the people that you could argue are like Titans in that they are like, but I think they're scarier and more corrupt and evil. Like they are evil. Like there's evil in them. It doesn't mean the whole person has to be evil, and I think that's even worse. But the evil is in them, and it possessed their mind, so to speak, and poisoned them and made them into these demonic people almost. I think demonic is a very good word as well. Like Akuma would be a good word here. Like, I hope I understand the connotations of Akuma in Japanese, and if I don't, Japanese people correct me. But I think he thinks of these people as Akuma. Probably. And he hates his father as well. Because of course he says, like, man, from a child's perspective especially, it's like, why don't you step up for our sister? She got probably taken advantage of in the worst possible way, and she was found in a ditch dead. And she was only, what, 6, 7 years old. And he hates his father for that. But I think he doesn't understand that his father is protecting him here. Because if his father wouldn't say anything else, this little boy would be without a father. Because then the father would go to paradise. And I actually love that paradise phrase because it is often used in especially sci-fi stories if there is like The Isle. I don't know if you know that movie. I think it's called The Island with Ewan McGregor, where they are like, spoilers for that movie, I'm sorry. There will be spoilers now. I hope I don't ruin your day. There's a movie, basically people live in a very nice sheltered society, and people are allowed to go to the island of paradise when they are chosen by the state. And it's like a lottery, and it's like this thing everyone wants to go to. Like it's their dream, the naive dream. And it turns out in the end, again, spoilers, that they're all clones, and people that go to the island are not, as it seems, randomly chosen, but rich people from outside this place they're in pay for these clones to, like, so they can get their organs if they fail. So the island is just a slaughterhouse. And this vibe I get here as well. Yeah, he already hates himself. Yeah, I think. Ooh. 1,820 years ago, our ancestor Emir Fritz made a contract with the devil of all earth and obtained the power of the Titans. The devil of all earth. Is that the right translation? So, it is indeed, if this is correct, and I know it might be very mythical, but it seems the Gaia theme is a thing, at least in their culture. So it is basically a part of Earth and nature that, like, and devil is like, obviously it is demonic side of nature, like, it is the terrible side of the predator animals that they use here as Titan powers. Wow. Ymir's spirit. Ooh. Okay, so Ymir did get the Titan power about the sentient Titan, and somehow that was split upon, I don't know, his sons or his or her sons. Ymir Fritz is probably a woman, so it is spread among her children, and I mean, this looks like... Okay, no, this looks like lore. For a moment, because I just saw the hammer here, I thought they were building stuff, but no, they are just, you know. So these 9 people, indeed, were the original human Titans, I guess. Also, we had the ending where this one girl was raised up, so that might have been Ymir. She might have just been born with it. Like, what does obtained mean? We don't know that. She might have been born with it. She might have found something. She might have ate a fungus, like a mutated fungus. But, yeah. Okay. The subject of Ymir. Okay, so the Titan powers were used to wage war on Marley. So I got that right. So it's just I now know the names. So Eldians who waged war on Marley. Yeah. Ooh. Is that ethnic cleansing? And I'm only like, I don't want to dispute the terribleness of it. It's just the word. I don't know it that well. I always thought the cleansing is eradication. But wouldn't this be more like ethnic assimilation? I mean, it is the same, like in the end, I guess, a bit. But it preserves a bit of them, which is like, it's the fact. Don't get me wrong, it's still very fucked. But I don't know, you know? So they just used these Titans to conquer the world then. Oh. So it was basically what happened, like not exactly, like not with Titans, but it was what happened in Eldia right now with the coup d'etat. That's also like they also plotted to overthrow them from within. Again, it is this theme. It is a very brilliant theme, and I love it in stories. And I think you can find a lot of evidence in the real world that it is exactly like this. If things go too big, they get corrupt first. Like it's often that there are very good things that grow, like a state or a company or an idea, and down the line they turn corrupt because people will be so in love with it and so used to it as well that it will get stale and can't evolve anymore. And then corruption sets in because the things it can't adapt to anymore, or the ideas it doesn't like, or anything like that, or the behavior like that like goes against it, and it will shut it down. But because it also has this size, it mostly covers a certain area, and everything in this area is under its I don't know, let's say spell. So from what I know, it's always that seeds start to rise somewhere inside and it gets destabilized because it gets stale and corrupt. Then it falls and people overthrow it, and then there's hell, but then something new arises. And then one day another idea or another company or another, and it's company in nowadays times mostly, I think, but then or another government will rise, and down the line it might repeat itself. And this here happened as well. The Great Titan War was apparently what created the Eldian cage.
当時のエルディアの王はこの気づき国民と共にそこへ逃げ込んだ。
Okay. So no virus or anything that got out of hand, but it was really, like, it might be a virus or a fungus, but so they fled to an island called Paradis. And the question is, was it called Paradis by the king? Because he wanted to build his dream there. So the king, this king personality that has accumulated over the years by them always eating the founding titan, seems to be like wanted peace, like paradise for people. But does that mean he just wanted this island to be paradise? And he knew the world outside was effed, or he didn't care or something anyway. So that's why they built the walls. They built the walls to not get overrun by Marley and the other 7 titans. And I wonder how they got them under control. That seems very hard, but I will take it. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's interesting. So he told him what happened. And then he went into the Malia's great mode. And I do not like... I think there are 2 kinds of people that like, perhaps there are more, but it's just the 2 I like, the typical ones I have heard about in these, like, in the areas they designated, for example, in Pater Germany. Either they understood, no, it was 3. Either they understood and were silent and tried their best to still, like, get their people, like, up and help them and stuff, or it was they just hated the other oppressors, or the people that put them, like, like the people who put them in and didn't, like, really help the other people. They just, like, consumed with hate, a bit like Grisha here is, by the way. And then again, there were the people that think they are at fault, which is also horrifying. So let's see if we see all those 3 types. So we've had people that are full of hate, like Grisha, I think, at least now, and reasonably so. Like, don't get me wrong, of course, reasonably, like, of course, like, what do you expect from him here? Completely reasonable. I get him 1000%. I would probably be like this as well in that situation, like 100%. And then the father, who seems like who might be either the person that is like, yeah, I have to talk this nonsense so my son has a chance to not get killed. Let's be honest. Or he's feeling that they're in a way right, and he thinks the guilt of his ancestors is reason to keep him in this state here. Which is also like, I don't have to talk more about this, I think. I think that's a very, very recent thing as well. Guilt of ancestors. And, you know, I'm from Germany. Like, my ancestors, technically no, by the way, because I'm half American. So... So I can always make the argument that this is a joke. Don't get it wrong. It's just a joke what I'm going to say now. So it's like, you know, my one half of my ancestral guilt, which I don't believe in that. I believe in individuals. I believe that there are practices that you take from your parents that are corrupt. And I think assuming that the terrible things your parents did are your fault does not give credit to people's critical thinking and ability to change and learn, and I hate that. I can be completely frank with you here. So again, like what I often say a bit really tongue-in-cheek is like, you know, one part of me is German, that part freaked up half of Europe, the other part's America, I'd like saved half of Europe, so like I'm neutral, no guilt. And that's really tongue-in-cheek, because I don't describe to this guilt thing at all. At all. And this is exactly where it can end up, by the way. This guilt. If you think your ancestors did something and you are held accountable, you are put in a place where you are put aside and shunned because your ancestors did something, I think that's inhuman. And I also get people who do that a bit, like put people in, like no, I don't get it. That's also the wrong word. Like I understand the thinking behind it. Like we must make sure that it's weird. It's like this genetically focused thing, I think, in a way. Is it? I've not thought a lot about if it's more genetic or cultural, what the criticism of the guilt is. Perhaps it's both. But it's a criticism that I think is very anti-human and like individualism. Like it's basically saying an individual always has like guilt is hereditary. Like you can inherit guilt. You can't. Like because let's actually say it with me, because I don't know if I ever said this, but I'm adopted. So I have not been raised by my, let's say, ancestors directly. That's why I also am half American, half German, because like my biological parents were that. So let's take the example of Painter Germany. Would you say I inherited it then, like that if you go by this framework, which I don't describe to and I think it's despicable and anti-human and individuals and I hate it. But if you say now, in my case, and I think that's something people probably don't talk about when because it's like, it's not the average situation. So I get it as well. But that's something I always wonder. What would people like that say? Would they say I inherited the guilt of my ancestors for the German thing? Would they say I inherited it? Or would they say I inherited the good as well? Like, because then if you can inherit guilt, you can also inherit achievements. So, and like, come on, like at least you have like people that describe that, you at least have to do that. You have to at least give it that, because you can't just say, yeah, it's just the bad stuff is like transported. Like why? Like that makes no sense to me. So do I then inherit also the good stuff from my like American side in this war thing? Like what? Like how is it like do you weigh it then? Like, or would you now say, I've never known these people. I've never known my biological parents. And I've been risen by other people. And I love them, and they are my parents. I consider those people my parents, like 100%. And I'm glad that my mother didn't abort me, because she should have done by society's norms in the situations she was in. Like normally I would have been like a dead fetus in a bin. I'm realistic about that. And just because she had some value for like something was in her that wanted me to live against the situation she was in, which I like. That is one of the biggest acts of love I know of, that I know. And you know, it's like, what does that mean for me? What do I inherit? Like biologically, I don't inherit like I do inherit stuff, but culturally, didn't grow up where my mom grew up. I grew up under the more American values, because the area I think where I grew up was then occupied by the Brits, I think. Brits or Americans. And so I was raised by a lot of their values. So like the people who say there is this guilt inherited, what do you say to these things? I seriously want to know. And I probably wouldn't be able to make a conversation with people that would tell me I inherited some guilt for Germany, because I think, as I said, it's a despicable thing and it's anti-individual, and you disregard the ability to a person to reflect on the errors of their parents. And I think that's dangerous because, of course, your parents make errors and they might be terrible, but you can learn from them. And if you do that, like, why, whatever, this is really off topic now. I'm sorry. But again, this inherited guilt here, like there are people who believe that they inherit guilt from their ancestors, and they have to own up to that. Like, so this might be his father. Anyway, that was a very long tangent. I already suspect this is going to be the longest video of, but oh god, we're 10 minutes into the episode. He obeyed his master's command and gladly shamed his own ancestry, much like he was their dog. Yeah. Some people really believe that they are responsible for what their ancestors did. It's like... And again, people in the past, they did so many terrible things. Most people, most cultures in the past, all of them did horrendous acts, starting with human sacrifice by the Mayans. Like, let's not go into the recent things because, again, if you want to talk politics, go to the Patreon Discord channel, you can vent all your stuff there. But, like, I don't really want the recent stuff, even though I think it's coming up here a bit, but please just, like, again, I think it's not a recent problem, just like, it's been there all the time. And like I said, every culture has done terrible, terrible stuff. And I'm of the opinion we should look at the terrible stuff and learn from it. And not blame people. Like, you can't learn then. Like, not blame the people that didn't do it. Like, oh god. In Germany, there is currently a term floating around which is also very despicable, and it is used by the increasingly authoritarian government in Germany. And they think they're right and like right in thinking and doing good. And I see why they think that. Don't get me wrong. I do think that, like, there is a sensible reason at the core, but the way they do it is really reprehensible because they use these authoritarian methods. I think they think they don't have another chance right now, but it's still despicable. And there is a term floating around, contact guilt, in Germany. So it's not even that your ancestors are what makes you guilty, but being in a room with a person who has done guilty one day. That is, you are found guilty by especially the media currently in Germany. You are found guilty by the media if you know people who were in a meeting where there supposedly were very, very dark thoughts. And what do I mean by know the people? It might have been just your dentist, and that was the case. Like, there was a dentist at a meeting. The meeting is heavily criticized, and it created the government-led. By the way, it's a government-led protest against the right, and it's not the far right. And that's something most people that demonstrate on the streets don't understand. It's also against, like, the normal conservatives. It's not against the artist people. And there are people like that in Germany right now. Like, don't get me wrong. There are, it's like this thing coming up again. Like, the artist thoughts are there in some parties. They are there, I think. But many people are also just normal conservatives. And these demonstrations, the demos that are happening in Germany, that are initiated by the state, and they're against conservatives in general. And people, like, start to march the line between a normal conservative and someone who's like a shithead, who's got, like, who's someone shit in the brain. Because those people exist. Let's not kid ourselves. They are indeed there, I believe. And the government and the media in that light also created this term contact guilt. So there was a meeting, and people were there where, I don't know, there was, I think, they went to court, and it was officially, there was no talk about about artist painter methods, and actually I don't know it. Like, it's just so muddy, we just don't know. The media says one thing, social media says the other thing, and I don't know. I will not say I know. But what I think is very horrid is that every person who was at that meeting now gives this contact to other people. Like, I think, and I'm sorry, again, long tangent. So there was a dentist at that meeting, I think, and he had some very painter people thoughts before. Like, it is, I think, documented. So you could probably say, like, man, beware of the dude. But he was like a dentist, and several politicians were like, he was a dentist for politicians, and some were there. And people who just went to him to get their teeth checked are associated by guilt because they knew him, like just knew him. Some might have talked to him, some might not have. I mean, I don't know how you talk to your dentist. But like, that is also so horrible. And it is exactly this idea as well. This guilt you get, like guilt, not like guilt that is put upon you without you having acted to cause it and to merit it. Like, you have not made an action that made you guilty. And we've talked about guilty before. You have to know what the outcome will be, and you have to choose it willingly. And then if something terrible happens because of that, and you knew it would happen, the terrible thing, then you're guilty. And silence might be the same. Like, if something like happens, like a very horrid thing, and you keep silent, like, for me, that's in that category as well. But again, we might argue about that, by the way. I think so. That man was telling lies. Yeah, of course he was. Yeah, of course. Okay, so the father is not one of ancestral guilt completely. That's I think Grisha is seeing it as his father's like this person who is indeed guilty. But his father's, this again, it shows he just wants to protect Grisha here. He knows the walls are probably bugged. I mean, they have electricity. They probably have listening in devices. So, yeah, that's like, man. Also, he put his worth down. Yeah, look at how afraid his father is for him. Look at the drawing of the father. It is like he knows it's not right, but he has to say it. Yeah. You are right, Grisha, though. What I said. I know I talked a lot, but it's basically exactly what I said here. It's exactly what I just said. Like, all of what I talked about is exactly this situation here. They know. Humble lives. How good are they, though? Wow, that's so dark. This is one of the darkest scenes. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh no, it's this world. And by this world, I mean the people you like that are outside the internment zone. Malay? The Malay people. Like, they're obviously doing horrid stuff here with reasons that, man, like... And I guess as well, the Malay people probably have the deep-rooted hate for these alien people. I get that, like, I know that. They killed their own people as well. It's like retaliation as well. Because I think there is... God. I'm gonna be here forever. Anyway, like, the retaliation thought, I think, is often there, underlying, in this argument of guilt associated or inherited. It's this, someone did something and I want someone to pay. And I need an easy target. I need to vent it on someone because there is something that people did and I can't blame them. So I need to blame someone because I can't just eat it up. So let's take the easy way out and blame, like, for example, the ancestors or their friends or their employees or whatever.
私は無知でおる。
Yeah.
世界は理不尽で狂っている。
Wow. Yeah. They throw bottles at them, yeah. 18, you became a doctor? Oh, so your father was a doctor as well.
この切り傷はどうしました？これは同胞の証です。
It's proof I'm a patriot. Weird. Why?
同胞？あなたの妹はマーレ当局の男に殺された。
Oh.
政府の内通者がいます。
Oh, so they're doing the same to them now. See? I could have guessed that, but okay, so they're doing the same. They also like undermine the government a bit now. I love it.
聞かせしましょう。嘘だ。
What did you learn?
事件の真相を知ったとき、心に誓った。
Okay, so it was him. Okay. I see. But did they pay him? Did they pay him here? Or did, like, this could be, like, so dark. They pay him to, so she could be mauled by dogs.
我々の祖先がやったことは正しかっ
Wow, yeah.
たためには、エルディアを復活させなくてはならない。
Ooh.
マーレ政府の内通者はフクロウと呼ばれ、
The owl. What happened then? Because he seems to be from the same people that Zeka was from. And they really hate the aliens. Huh. Or are those two factions as well?
ノシとユミルは巨人の力に目覚め、荒れ地を耕し、道を作り、峠には
Ooh.
豊かにし、この大陸を発展さ。
Okay.
歴史は全てモーレに都合のいい方
しかし
God, we're getting into revisionist history. Revisionist history. What the frick is going on in this episode? Might be. I don't know anymore. I just don't know. So perhaps there was not a war. Perhaps that was also wrong. And perhaps again they were overthrown for some reason. I don't know. The war still seems more likely. But let's see.
いや、まだほとんど解読できてないんだ。でも
How did you know the truth? That's true.
なぜなら俺は始祖ユミルを信じている。俺たちは選ばれし神の子、ユミルの民だ。
Yeah, that's the cult. It's also the cult. The other emu was. Yeah.
が人を使わしたぞ。
I'll send us somebody who.
まして。私はダイナ・フリッツ
Dina Fritz.
家の血を引くものです。
Are you though? Are you though?
私は運命に導かれるままにその身を委ねた。
I mean, I guess they're grasping at hope.
彼女は大陸に存在する王家の末裔の
So she really was? Okay.
個人の情報を復権派にもたらした。それはまさしく勝利への勝つ。
Interesting. Oh yeah, it's the picture we saw in the ending. So good.
王が壁の中に持ち去った始祖の巨人。マーレを打ち滅ぼすことができる。
Oh God! No way! Oh no! Yeah! Oh, that's so fucked. Oh, that's so fucked. So they say they want, like, so if this is still what they want to do, if Zecke and Rainer and Bertolt and Annie and whatever the fuck the car titan is want to do, is get the coordinate to fucking kill all their oppressors. Holy shit, man. But then, but I think that is all still understandable, and like that's not the right call, obviously, but but it's a direction that I understand, and perhaps like they have to, like, the thing is, I also think they have to destroy the Mali structure in some way, but in contrast to what we had in the coup d'etat in Eldia, or in Paradise, I don't remember the name here exactly, but the Paradise Island, the coup d'etat that happened there was peaceful, and this one is like exactly the opposite. So it seems to be that the one of the themes of this anime is actually how to destroy or how to fell these two big entities, like, for example, government, corporation, or idea. Let's say it like that. I think that's reasonable to say. I think. Again, by the way, most of the stuff is opinion. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Like, I know I'm talking like, this is like it is, but always when I say something, it's always my opinion. Don't forget that. Anyway, so, God, this is gonna be so long. I wanted to finish the season. I will not be able to finish the season now because, God. So they disregard Paradise. And like on a meta level, like they disregard Paradise, like they don't want Paradise, they just want hell. They don't want, they value hell for the people that oppress them above the paradise they could have. And that is obviously a meta interpretation, not literally, but that's an awesome theme. Like, what the fuck was this writer on when he constructed all of this? I love him. Like, I would give him all the Lagavulin I could afford, and I would drink it with him on the brilliant writing here. Because it explores exactly what do you do with corrupt structures, and I love it. And he brings up almost all corrupt ideas and episodes and storylines, like in arcs here in this show, that I could possibly fathom. Like, the basic thing is corruption, what to do against it as well. Corruption and freedom rising from felling that corruption. Wow. So, and again, Zecke and Rainer and Bertolt and Annie and whatever the fuck the car thing is, do indeed want to steal the coordinate to control all Titans and attack Mali again. To fell the structure at B. Again, with another method though, not the coup d'etat, not the reasonable one. And again, perhaps you can't reason with the people anymore in Mali. We don't know that. We've only seen the assholes on the street. So... yeah, why did he flee to an island? That's a good question. Oh, like Armin. Capital, okay. So they feel abandoned as well. That is like a bad outcome of what Armin's philosophy is here, I think. Armin is like exactly like not like, I will not fight back. But he withdrew, like he didn't stand his ground. You can argue it like that. So I think it is like he's doing what Armin refuses to do in a way. Actually, it's not exactly like Armin, it's so. Yeah. I mean, that's the measures are very extremist here, and that's such an interesting thought. Like, is this just? And you can't say no or yes, of course. It's too complicated, I think. But I mean, when we look back at World War II, they did basically this. Like, I would take this as a, like, if you interpret this as, let's say Europe was the European culture that was not completely poisoned yet by the painter ideology, or also a bit later from the Soviet ideology as well. Like, it's similar there a bit, because both were like authoritarian, of course. And in the time after the Nazis, like in the east of Germany, like something like this also was again happening. So they didn't completely free themselves. So basically the European countries did unleash the Titan, the US, if you want to call it like that, to, like, with force, destroy the structure here. So it worked there. So it is something you might do. And if it is for freedom, that might be an argument you can make. But there are catches with this, and there are prices to pay. You can believe me there. There are fucking prices to pay. And, like, for example, the people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki were the price they paid. For example, that. And that was not on the continent. It's not the government. They, like... Anyway, I will not go into it more here because I think I've been talking about this for over an hour now and we are not even halfway done, so let's just go. Why is she crying? Oh, she's happy, I think. Aww. That's so cool. That's Seka, I guess. Yeah. So cool. How did Seka and Grisha get their Titan powers? That's so cool. What does that mean? A turning point came. What is that? Oh, wow, what? Oh my god, what is this episode? So, god, yeah, so they're like, yeah, we need your blood. Why do they need their blood to serve as vessels as for the 9 Titans? Why do they need alien blood? Like, because it should work for everyone, right? Or is it just aliens that can, like, eat the Titan powers? It will probably be explained, but yeah, man, they are supposed to now be their warriors, and they are being baited by... they are promised riches and getting out of the societal structure of this confined space they're held in. And yes, in World War II, in certain encampments, there were people they took from the people in the camps and made them the officers as well. It's also not talked about a lot, but... And again, it is this situation was just more horrifying because the price was not honor and like honorary something, but it was like you don't die instantly, you get food. So even more reasonable, not reasonable, even more of an understandable. And it's so fucked. I know it all. Like all of these topics are fucked, but more reasonable. Yeah. Why is Marley making a move? What? Yeah, planes. Why is the end of their dominance nigh? Really? It's just sort of fucking oil? I love that. I love that everyone gets criticized in this anime on a meta perspective. Like, this is obviously the hey, let's get oil, we start wars everywhere. It's a, you know, it's a, like in Germany that's a bit of a US meme. I don't know how it is in other countries, so I don't know. But love it. And you know what, I've thought about that in the past days a lot. And I think it is, everything has limits. Everything. If there is something you don't think has a limit, think more about it. And with limits, I mean, these things, like, what are the drawbacks? What are the sides? Like, what are the bad things? Like, you should always be able to steelman the counter position, and you should always be able to see where what you want and what you pursue and your ideas and your ideals, where they are, where the flaws are, where the serious flaws are, because sometimes they are really serious, sometimes they are a bit like, sometimes there are small flaws, depending on what it is. And if you ask someone that is like very passionate about a cause or anything, ask them, so what are the bad things about this? And if the people can't answer you, that's like, I think they should think about that, because you should be able to do it. Because basically everything, every idea, every cause is a model that tries to like be something efficiently in explaining stuff, and no model is perfect. And as is in this world, nothing is perfect. You strive for things you think are perfect, but even if you think the thing is perfect, what you do is not perfect and will have flaws. What are they? And that is why I love this. And I love this show. It criticizes everything. Criticizes authoritarianism. It criticizes greed for resources, starting wars for that. It criticizes so many ideas. It shows both sides of so many things. And that's why it's so real. And that's why this show is probably one of the best things ever written. Already. The king left a warning behind. If you ever interfere with us, millions upon millions of titans in the walls will flatten the entire world. Oh, that's that. Okay. Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay, so as far as I understand, the king now is... And Uri had that, so I understand it now. Oh, I understand it now. I understand it now. So, the king was like, I have to abandon some people here, but I can go to this island and I can create these walls, and in these walls we are safe from these radical people, these authoritarians that keep us down or will keep us down in the future. And yes, there are people we have to leave behind, we have to sacrifice them, like we, for example, and the more recent episodes sacrificed all the scouts. Like, people will be sacrificed, and the king is, again, obviously the leader. Like, he knows that it's like this Erwin topic we had, and he's like, okay, they will be sacrificed. It's terrible, but I have the possibility to, for my people, build a good world. And he failed. That's the sad part, because he was too he was too hung up on this dream of a paradise, and he made mistakes. And I now think a part of why he didn't want people to go out was also to, like, not confront the Marley reality, like what Marley is a bit. And he was like, you know what? The threat of Titans outside our walls is a terrible threat, but the threat in Marley is evil. And it's, again, this evil of nature and evil of society. He was like, the evil of society is worse to me, and I do not want to subject my people to that. So I will choose the evil of the Titans. I really strongly will subject my people to. And ironically and sadly, then the societal corruption set in his place as well. And even in his confined space, he couldn't uphold the paradise because there was corruption in his government again. And man, this is like one of the best things I've ever, like, I cannot believe how brilliant this is. Like, Attack on Titan just has probably become top 3 story of all time for me, because it encapsulates so much of humanity. So awesome. So that is also why Grisha wanted to steal it. Yeah, I see. So they had a race for time as well. Will have my son Zeke become a Marleyan warrior. God, I'm so sorry. You know, I'm looking at the time. God. I will be so interested in how many people are still here. So many people are probably gone. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I actually believe for many of you this is interesting because it's basically what I always do, but this is like... This reminds me of this Frieren video, the big one I did anyway. I'm sorry, I'm stalling. I don't want to. It's like, it just... Because I'm currently unsure as how far I should talk about these things here, because this is basically like, it just... Like, this is nothing I ever had in a reaction. This denseness. We had a lot of dense stuff, like in Wheel of Time, the reveal of the eel, or like we had the Warhammer video on the Last Church, but this is even more dense. This episode, like, how can you cram? Like, this would be a whole. This single episode would be a whole show, and other like media or stories. Anyway, this. Let's go to this. So, education. There is a problem of state-run educational system as well, because of course they also, like we talked about at length now, they get corrupt and they get stale and static. And I mean, and I am from the educational sector. I see it. Like in Germany, for example, the educational system is collapsing because of several reasons, and this is actually something I can pretty surely talk about. It's like very, very, very evidence-based, and I know the people who are in government a bit, and I know, and a colleague of mine knows like 1 or 2 educational ministers, like educational ministers, yes, and the departments, and it is this thing I talked about before. The main problem is not ill will, never. I don't think there is in Germany. There is no ill will. There is none. But systems get too big. There is people being promoted into these high-ranking positions in part that are incompetent and that are in over their heads. And some of them are lazy and just want the money. And some really want to try to change stuff. But unfortunately, those are not the people that would... It's also interesting. I never thought about that until now. And oh God, that for me it is, I have the view that the competent should be the ones doing the decisions, because at least you have a higher chance of them succeeding. Like, it's not guaranteed, of course, but so I value competence in leading positions a lot. Also, you should take responsibility for your actions and be held accountable in some way. We talked about that before as well. For example, Evan took responsibility for all the scouts dying because he died as well. That, like, something like that is the thing I really ascribe to. And that's why I love Erwin so much. For example, he took responsibility and he was competent. He was a good leader. And the people that are in the departments right now, some of them, and not all, again, there are very good intentioned people, and I know a lot of them as well. Don't get me wrong, they're very good people, I know. But the thing I also often see is that it's not the people in competence that do nepotism. It's just not their thing, I think, because they do value competence. And yes, you might choose colleagues that are working in the same field as you, for example, into research positions. I think that's even like something that's okay-ish. Like, you can make, like, I can see that. And I have to admit, it's not always bad. So perhaps I'm also part of the problem. But like, I will readily say that, but like, because I think actually that sometimes it's not dumb, because like, why not work with the people you know that it works with and that produce good stuff? You like just hire them, like, then, you know. But then again, it's a selection of competence as well. Anyway, in general, the people that are promoted due to like, so you have to give them some job. You can't have them like teach children because they're inept. So you put them into leading positions. For example, in the government. That happens in part. And those people use nepotism. They are the ones. So that's why the competence slowly withers away. And in Germany, it withered away long way. And now there is a lot of nepotism, and through that, a lot of incompetence, unfortunately. So back to this point, your state-run education system might be fucking corrupt. And they might teach your children rubbish and unimportant stuff, or they might teach your children wrong, like stuff that are not of the state of educational psychology. And like, for example, in Germany, we still have this system of school from the military times, from the 1910s. Like, it was created to make sure that the people are military ready when they go to the military. Because, I mean, this was Prussian times. It's a long way back. And we still have that system. Like, and there's evidence for systems that work better, but again, stays the same, laziness, incompetence anyway. So you have school systems, education systems that in part do not like, because, and also I want to make this very clear, it's not the teachers by a mile, it's not the teachers that are at fault here, not at all. Our teachers are, I think, and I've probably in my life talked to and worked with, like talked to about 1,000 teachers, worked with about 100 at least. And each and every one of them, 90%, were brilliant people. They had the right, heart at the right spot. They wanted people to learn. They were good teachers. So it's not the teachers. I'm specifically talking about the people giving the orders what to teach. Okay? Like, I want to make that perfectly clear. Not the teachers. Some teachers are bad, always, everywhere. And some teachers use older methods, sometimes because they're old. But often all those old people that do what they always did, they are also very open to learning. Because I do that, like I do teacher workshops. And to teacher workshops where you learn new stuff, like digital media, AR, 50% of the people coming have only 5 years left in teaching, but they are like, I want new stuff because I know, you know, many ideas that are proposed by research, for example, are great ideas, and I want to still learn myself so I can better teach. And I have a colleague, a teacher, and a dear friend of mine. He's now retired. And he worked a lot together with me on very new educational methodologies and scenarios and structures of how to conduct physics lessons that are highly successful for people who are not good at math. So, like, and highly successful in the sense that you can actually measure stuff there. Like, said that, like, again, the project was then, like, it was basically cancelled because it did not have enough buzzwords, but we're still doing it with other funds I managed to acquire somewhere else. Like, we actually got something from the EU, so thanks EU for that. But you know, but God, this is, perhaps it's too late and I'm doing stupid tangents that you don't care about anymore. But so again, education system can be corrupt and is a case often. Like, I don't know how it's for the US. I've heard it is pretty bad there as well. In Germany it is, like, content-wise, not teacher-wise. Teachers are brilliant, but the educational system is, because of the content and the way they teach, they're asked to teach is very, like, it's starting to get really bad. And the tests they get and the grades they get in the end, they're like worth less and less for various reasons I've talked about before. In Frieren, for example, I'm not going to do that now, but teach your children the good stuff. It's all what it's probably all I wanted to say, what Grisha is doing here. Teach them what you think is good. And for me, I would always try to teach my daughters to critically think about stuff and do stuff like what I do here a bit. Like, I see this as a bit of edutainment sometimes. I don't know if you agree. If you disagree, it's like, I get that, but because, like, for example, I want to tell them what I told you today. If you think there is a brilliant idea, what are the drawbacks? Always tell me that. And if they go to me like, yeah, like, they will be like 14, 15 one day, and they'll be, I have the perfect political system, I found it. It is X. And then I will be like, I will sit down with them. I hope I will do that. I will sit down with them. Tell me what horrid things could happen if humans are the corrupt assholes they sometimes are. What could they do to your system that will really frick it up? And if my daughters can answer that, I will try to figure it out with them. Like, I will not tell them their opinion. Like, I will ask them questions to make them think about it. And perhaps they conclude their ideas are not having any bad consequences, and then like they can form their own opinions. At least that's what I hope I will do. Like I will, you know, and another thing like this, and again I talked to the people in Germany, and I think it was this episode. Was this the episode where his sister was killed with the airship? I've been recording for so long I don't remember. Might have been. Like again, I talked to some people in Germany, and I also talked to people in Eastern Germany where it was not the painter stuff, but the Soviet stuff, so more communist ideas, especially in the DDR, which was the east part of Germany. And that was a place of fear like this as well. So the authoritarian systems the author manages to describe and depict here brilliantly, like so realistically, sadly realistically, are not left or right wing here, really. Like you could find aspects of each of those in the systems, and for example, the Mali stuff I think is more like painter stuff, and the alien stuff is more communist stuff, but you see where both of them can lead here, and I love that. And again, like, so he tells you, like, it is basically a more general perspective on what authoritarianism can be, and tries to warn you about both of these things, I feel. And yeah, I think there was someone actually who left, who unsubscribed because I was doing anti-communist rhetoric. And, you know, read some history books, mate. I'm sorry, like, I can't do that for you. And I know people don't have the luxury I have. I can talk to people who lived in communist times. I have a good friend of mine who was, he lives here in Germany for 10 years now, but he was from Russia. He's Russian. And he's now a German. And he's a very dear friend of mine. And he was like, man, like, communist Russia, like horrid stuff. And he joked about something one day. It was before the war, actually, in Ukraine. So I hope he's actually well, because he was living in a Russian quarter where in my town where there were many Russian migrants, and they are all basically very anti-Putin. So I hope they don't get lumped in with extremist people, you know, and I fear for their safety a bit right now. I hope they're all right. But because they're very open, very, very well-read, well-educated people. And he said, every time the government told us something, we just assumed the opposite. Everyone he knows did. And again, he was of this, like, more, you would be more educated, resistant to the stuff kind of people. And, but that's what he said. His family and his mother always was, and his father always taught him, whatever the government tells you, that's probably exactly what is not the case. And, yeah, and the same goes for people. A teacher of mine, I was once in Berlin with him, and he told me he was in East Germany when it was still a thing, and like the DDR was still there, and he went there with students from the West, so they had a special permission to go there, and one of his students ran off in the evening, and they were they had to cross back into West Germany at 8. I think it was 8 p.m. And one of his students was missing. And the fear in his voice when he talked about that situation, because it wasn't just his student was missing, with is obviously bad, but he would have had to stay there. And my teacher, the way he talked about that, and he was there, like he saw the people and stuff. And also another thing that was a bit nice to the story. Oh God, it stopped. Oh, I'm so sorry. The thing that was nice about it is, like, he found him at a Berlin like he had gone with a Berlin boy he met on the street, and they were watching football and they had a blast. So it was a very wholesome thing in the end. So again, the normal people, oh god, it comes back again. The normal people was still there all the time, but that was not the problem. The problem would have been they would have had to stay there, and he was, like he said, like they listen to each other, and you can't even tell your brother anything, any critical thought, and you will get taken. So anyway, let's continue with the episode. I hope it's not going to start from the beginning. It is, so let's see where we were. Yeah, with Zeka. So Zeka was told, like the people in these, at least what I know from more left authoritarianism governments did. But again, I assume it was the same for right wing. I did not ask people specifically for this, but I know it a lot from left extremist authoritarianism governments. Is that the word? That exactly this happened a lot there. Yeah.
の屈辱はあなたが晴らすのよ。
わかった。
And yeah, he, by the way,
親が子を自らの思想に染め上げる。
yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's also extremist. And you have, as I said, you have, like, that's why I specifically phrased it with my daughters what I planned that way. I will not tell them how to think. They should make up their own mind, because then my sins might be put onto them. Like, and by that I mean not because they're my children, but because they take my ideas and think they are the best thing without thinking about them. So.
身深さを王家の血を引く子でもエルディア
Yeah, poor Zeka. So he was brainwashed.
一度でもあっただろうか。
What is he pointing at?
陸は自らと祖父祖母の安全を得、
Oh.
愚かな良心をマーレ政府に差し出すことと引き換えに。
So it's not always the brother that can rat you out. It might be your child. So, I mean, you know what's good? I don't have to talk about this. I just talked about this right now. So, interesting that, yeah. Oh. Oh, so no. Zeke is indeed part of Male. He believes in Male. He didn't believe his father, so the government's brainwashing worked. So that's why he thinks that Grisha brainwashed him. Brilliant stuff, Grisha. Thanks for, yeah. Oh god, I have to get up in 5 hours. And I'm halfway through the episode. I've been recording for 1.5 hours. Shall I stop here and make this part 1 and 2? I don't. Perhaps I will do it. I will just record it now, and you hopefully give me a like if you're still there for me killing all my night for this. I love it though. That game, I love this. This is so much, so dense. Can't believe it. Blows my mind. But so I will do a poll on Patreon probably if I should split the reactions into 2 parts, or if you want a movie of scared stories with style reacts to episode 320. Hello there, great person. This is a short advertisement interlude by me. So if you like this content, you might also enjoy my horror story, The Waters That Hated, which deal with a city in North Korea during the Cold War where poverty and communism were running rampant, and the society was poisoned by many ideas, though they still hate each other and wanted to prevail despite the horrible circumstances. And if you want to know about a mother that saved her child from those circumstances, check out the horror story. It has some Attack on Titan vibes in that it is very enclosed in parts, and the society is really fricked. Like, I don't know, Marley is, let's say it like that, or also the way Eldia was before they did the coup d'etat. So if you are interested in a society like that, check out this horror story. It's also very sad and I think very, very, very horrific and brutal in parts, and probably one of the most violent things you've ever seen as well in parts. So I don't know if you're up for that. Check it out. It's linked down in the comments. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And now we continue with the reaction to Attack on Titan 320. And yes, the themes I discussed here are also a lot in the story I just mentioned. So yeah, if you like my discussions here, you can see how I worked through these themes on my own half a year ago before I watched this. So yeah, that's that. Oh, sorry, I almost didn't read that. Information available for public disclosure. Humanity outside the walls. Though the humans who live outside the walls look no different than us and speak the same language as we do, their civilization appears far more advanced than ours. However, they view us, who live inside the walls, as a race of devils that have committed terrible sins. Yes. By the way, one quick thought. Why do they have different writing then? Same language, different writing? Don't know. So it makes sense. So Grisha, I'm sorry, so Seiko was indeed brainwashed by the government and thought he was brainwashed by his father, who tried to unbrainwash him, but it fired back because he also technically, yes, he did also brainwash him. Oh god. What a shit show. What a giant fucking shit show. Yeah, see? Exactly this. They're gonna go to paradise.
そうだ。エルディア人反逆。お前たちはここで終身刑となる。
As a Titan. See, so I was completely right. I'm kind of glad I called all of this here. I'm glad I paid attention for the email flashback. Lot. Oh, why? Oh, they had tortured him. Oh, and they... That's also, by the way, so fucked. They use the same torture methods that the aliens used, so they're the same in terribleness here. Like, even though they're like, the one is more prototypical, the like, there are different reasons for totalitarianism in a way, I feel, but in the end, they're so the same that they even use the same torture methods. Like, this author has the biggest brain I've ever seen. Oh, and it was it was this dude. I knew it. It was the dude that seemed more human. I can't wait for him, more for him. Yeah, you've met him before. Yeah, what does he think here? Not a Titan, yeah. It's basically putting you into eternal hell. Like Ymir said, a living nightmare. So they put you in a fate worse than death. So you could even argue that what they do here is even worse than the certain camping grounds. Because yes, they were also living hell, but this was potentially eternal living hell. Horrid. Kreis. Wow, he ratted all of them out. It was so sad. Wow, yeah. Oh, they blame each other now, yeah. Yeah. This is kind of the reverse. The parent here is held accountable for the actions of their child, which is a better case to make. Like, you can make that a bit easier, but it's still like a child is not only raised by parents, it's raised by society. But the thing is, how much is it raised by society? His child was obviously raised a lot by society, unfortunately too much here. So he was brainwashed, but yeah. Interesting. I love that. And he also lashes out at Grisha here, because he needs, again, what I also talked today about, or I don't know if you see this in one thing, but someone has to be guilty for your situation here. He wants someone to be guilty. He can't blame the child. It's a child. Never can blame a child for anything. You can't say, hey, child, you're talking shit. Because it's just a child. How can you blame a child? That is a bit mean, but I also think, yeah, you can blame children, but you should not punish them for that. You should talk to them and tell them what you're doing here is wrong in this way, I think. And then you should again try to have the dialogue. And if you've raised them correctly and you're lucky that they don't have like a psychopathy or something, which can happen, then you know, I don't know if you can, if you can anyway, though you can, I think, blame a child a bit, you can, no, it's not, I actually am not sure anymore, I'm sorry, perhaps I've just changed my mind, perhaps you can blame a child, perhaps you can hold it responsible for something, yeah. Can hold a child responsible, but you shouldn't punish it, or like not even punish. You shouldn't put it into a place you would put an adult who should know better into. Like you should like find different methodologies to deal with it. Like talk to them. Probably the best thing. Talk to people, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think perhaps not intended, but he obviously can't blame the poor child. He blames the father, and he should be able to blame Zeke as well here a bit. But like, it's hard. This is a hard situation, and I probably should make a video on that because I would be here for 2 more hours now. They don't want to flood it this much, but yeah. Actually, I will just security pause 1 moment. Okay, so I just had to make sure that my 2-hour recording just now didn't get corrupted. Like, imagine if it crashed. It didn't. I just have to save it on the cloud. So if my computer should crash, it doesn't go away. 2 hours is a lot of content. I will not, like, that would be a shame. But yeah, so anyway, he's someone to blame, not himself, of course. Like, it's not himself that he blames here. And of course, I get that. Like, why would you blame yourself for your beliefs? Sometimes you should, in the way that you should critically, again, think of the limits and the bad things about that. But I think you cannot really fault him for not blaming. Like, why would he really blame himself? Like, he could blame himself for stuff, but it's not a lot, I guess, probably. I would love to hear your opinion on that as well. So, LDS finished. Yeah, that's yeah. You're free to go, yeah. Where did he kick him? Oh, so they went over with ships already, so they are like, this is Titan territory. So is he just gonna get eaten? Sergeant Major Gross, which means big. If we let him... Oh, that's so fucked. Oh, that's so fucked. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna... I mean, he didn't kill your sister, he just enabled people to kill your sister, but I mean, that's like really not a... That's not really a difference. That's not a... It's just, I'm a bit of a stickler. I'm a bit of a stickler, me6. I really hope this guy eats shit, by the way. I really hope he eats shit. Oh man. Oh my god, we've got the Charles Darwin Titan. Hello, Charles Darwin Titan. I love Charles Darwin Titan. Come back. Oh, there they are, yeah. Wow. What about his wife, though? Wow. All of them got tortured as well. Wow. Yeah, interesting.
先に進めてくれ。
お次は女か。もったいない。
Oh, it's his wife. Wow.
なぜここに。ほら、洗いざらい全部話したぞ。
Because he also is one of you. Like, it's even worse, his royal bloodline. Why is he silencing him? Yes, he is trying to cover it up. He might be on his side. He might have had a change of faith. Or perhaps he's just not a bad person. As I said, perhaps he is one of the ordinary people. Man, you really need to read that book, Ordinary People, I'm telling you.
さっさと巨人にして黙らせろよ。
グリシャ
What is he gonna say? I love you.
な姿になってもあなたを探し出すから
Oh god. She might be an abnormal and try to find him.
そりゃいい。巨人同士でよろしくやってろ。
She was in a way content. Oh man. Oh god. Fuck you so much. You know what they can really do well? Make you hate people. Like, wow, that's so tragic. So, God, I didn't even connect that yet. Like, of course, it. So that's why she came that day. And that's why she keeps going after Eren and Mikasa, because she feels probably Grisha's blood and Grisha's memories. That's why she came there and killed Hannes. Oh god. And this corrupt love in a way. Oh man. What a fucking gut punch. Wow. Scheiße, Mann. What a reveal. I should have seen it coming, I feel, but her hair color changed, so I don't know. I should have seen that coming. Don't really care. Like, it's not... Like, I love when I predict stuff also, but it's like more a bit of a fun in the situation that I understood something. But it was one of the most fucked up things yet. Again, like, I feel like I said every 5 minutes in this episode, which is still not over. Why is this episode not over? Because I keep pausing, I know, but... So those are his father's memories he now got back, also by reading the book. So he saw this literally, he just lived all of that. I think he's in a cell, why? No, he's not. Or is he in a bunk bed? Yeah, where is he? What's he doing? Why is he there? Ah, I'm sorry. Yeah, of course they're there. Oh, and Mikasa woke up as well. Yeah. Holy shit, man. That reveal, man. You know, I would have not even minded if the female Titan just happened to go for him. But that there was a reason why the female Titan always went for Eren and Carla and Grisha as well. Like, it went for Grisha and Eren, I guess, first, when it just came through the wall, because it like was driven inward, because it knew Grisha was there, because it's abnormal. And as I said, like this it seems that the abnormals, like this deep desires, they can like fester and linger in these times, which makes them abnormal. And so she was driven in first. by knowing, like instinctually knowing her love, like her last moments, her like corrupted, perverted drive for love or whatever is left of it, drove her into the walls. She went for Carla. For like, perhaps she even felt, I don't know why. Perhaps that was just an accident. I'm not sure. Or perhaps she somehow felt Ehren's blood or something. I don't know. But yeah, then like she went for Ehren and in that field when Hannes died because she felt Grisha's memories somehow. I think because they are connected. Yeah, he's probably having memory trips. Wow, Mikasa looks like Jesus. Fuck, why did you wake me up? Yeah, you were in the collective unconscious. Yeah, you were. Yeah. Wow, man. Yeah, he confronts him. I like that though. Like, seriously, like if you're in that situation, fuck it. He said, like, it might have been a bit of something like acknowledgement that might not have been, even in his perverted view, something right. Like, because, like, I still think, and I don't know this is like purely conjecture, but I think even these, like I said, these people, there are human traits in them. Like, we don't have to forget it. Sometimes they might come up in random stuff. I think there was a very terrible guardian in one of the camping grounds that actually let someone live just because they had, I don't know, a certain hairstyle or something, and they were like, you remind me of someone. I like really weird stuff. I think it is not exactly like this. Like, I did not remember this correctly. Like, it was a bit different, but the gist, I think, is the same. And that happened to the most horrid people as well. I think it is also. Where did I read it? It might be Ordinary Man or Modern Man in Search for Meaning. One of those two books it was in. So what's he gonna do here? You freaking fuck asshole, fuckface. Why do I feel Kruger's gonna fucking shoot him in the head? Let's not make you a Titan. Have this one turn into a 3 to 4 meter Titan so you can fight him. So they can control. They can control the Titan that he turns into. That's weird. Yeah, why, man? That's a good question, and why? Yeah, some do. What? Oh god, that is really fucked. Like, the thing is, what he's saying is true. It is a way of looking at the world. It's basically this live in the day because you can, like, something can just fucking kill you any second. It's like, that's life. Like, I could just, perhaps, like, in a moment, I would just now drop dead because of brain hemorrhage or something. Like, it can happen. Like, or, like, I don't know, a rabid dog might kill me or anything. Like, or the toilet of a space station might, like, land on top of me, like, kill me. Like in this one great show, I forgot the name of, but I loved it. And I think the scary thing is, like, what I think is very scary in this situation and disgusting is this he seems something like, psychologically, he's like really fucking broken, of course. And so this also is like common philosophical thoughts can get really, really fucking misused by people who are fucking fucked in the head, like he is. That is so scary. Like, because this is, like, I know people who have this, like, it's carpe diem, basically. It's like the most corrupted, perverted version of carpe diem you can come up with, but it is it. So, as I said, every idea can be corrupted. What's the drawback of an idea? You can turn into this if you do carpe diem, so to speak. And it's, like, not completely carpe diem, of course, but like that is also what I talked about today again. Like everything today cycles back to the same thing. So I hope I'm not repeating myself too much. I hope it's more like I connect stuff for me. Like I connect this stuff for me currently. Like I learn from this currently. So you see me learning. You've been seeing me learning for like 2 hours now or whatever. Okay, so he is indeed a fucking fuck shit, and you know, because I have the philosophy of always interpret stuff well, like try to not assume the worst of people all the time. And I get that they are like the artists people, and you probably should do that here. I think, you know, it's probably a flaw in my thinking sometimes. Like that is the drawback of that way of thinking, by the way, that I mostly try to apply. You do let people like this piece of asswipe and this absolutely fucking disgrace to human, not Grisha, the bearded guy, Gross. You can let them get off too easily, and that's a flaw. So I told you the flaw of that to tell you what I mean about that. Like I try to find the limits of some things, I think, but yeah, that's like. So indeed, he was the one who ripped apart his sister. I think the alternative would have been worse, though. I would have liked another character that, like, I would have liked him to be, I'm too lazy, and him like selling her or something. I know that's fucked, because I would have loved these 2 points to be addressed here, because I get his point, it's terrible, he's a horrid person, and I hope he dies, eats shit or whatever, but yeah. Yeah, of course he does. But yeah, what a fucking... I don't even know what this is. Is it an artist? Yeah, I think technically he is. Or he is a populocist. I just made up a new word, perhaps. Perhaps it's an artist. But yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That is so flawed, that logic. That's so flawed. Like, him making the dogs do the thing was before that, and before he knew that. So that's a fucking stupid argument as fuck. But, like, disgusting fucking piece of shit that he is. But, the thing is, of course, if there is authoritarian government, you try to crush it with force, of course they will have this, like, it will be easier for them to justify their means. Like, you will give them armor, ammunition. Is it though? History is written by the victors, of course. So the thing, by the way, I have to mention this because it is Zeke's Zekel's conundrum. We don't know which version is right. We currently do not know that. And I can't wait to see if we ever find out. We might. But if we don't find out, I would also like that. It would prove a point as well. Wow, what a fucking shit. Yeah. Oh good, he gets eaten. He gets the fate that he wanted to. Like it's like Bertolt. He basically gets the fate that he did put other people through. I like that so much. What a like. And also don't make the mistake. Kruger is not a good man. Like in that he's completely good here and he's like just playing along and stuff. Like no, he's got, because the ideas are probably in his head as well, like that's why I said we have to discuss good and evil one day, because Kruger would be, like, we have to discuss Kruger. I will also not only do Attack on Titan with good and evil, we will do other stories as well if you want. But Kruger is someone I need to discuss there, because this is a prime example. Kruger, you might say he is good in that he at least saves people, but he also has let many die. Don't forget that. Oh, it's you. How did she die? How did she die again? I know she's the anime Titan. She's the Sailor Moon Titan. Did Annie killed her, right? She was about to eat Connie and Annie ate her. What the frick? What? Holy shit, what? Why did he do it at that moment? Whoa, what? Holy shit, man. I can't watch the next one. I've been recording for 2 hours. I wanted to finish it. It is now. I have to get up in 3 hours. Oh shit. Oh god, I hope my wife doesn't see this. She don't know. Don't tell her. She's reading the comments. Don't mention this in the comments, please. That was the best. That was one of my favorite episodes of all time, of anything ever. I hope you enjoyed it a bit. I hope you enjoyed it a bit. I will not comment what I said so much today. God, fuck. Oh, God. This should be shown in schools and discussed and analyzed, I think. Like, it's one of those things. Like Last Church, I also think, like, you know I'm from education. I think, and the name Stories with Style is not for no reason. I think stories are one of the most powerful tools to discuss ideas and see their rights and wrongs. And so I am of the belief, and like it is the idea of like German or English classes that you do this, but I feel that often the stories, the older stories, they do not have this depth. Some do. Don't get me wrong, some do, and there are brilliant old stories, but I have now on this channel reacted to 1 or 2 things. For example, Last Church, or the thing in Wheel of Time. When I'm reading Wheel of Time, I will continue it soon, I hope. And I know I said that sometimes now, but I think this time really. So if you want to see me read a book live, I don't know, like you can check that out. But the Aiel stuff. And this. That are things. And the Aiel stuff, by the way, is also like the fall of a society too, though a natural, terrible, big catastrophe. And this is, of course, dealing a lot with falling societies, like because of societies itself. and in Wheel of Time, it's like society falling to nature, so to speak, in that part. But, and again, the Last Church. Those are things I would, like, if I could make classes, and I'm not the person to do these classes because I don't know enough about these things, I feel. And I feel I would not be up to the task to discuss these things in depth. Like, I do discuss them, but as I said, these, like, a lot of the stuff is me thinking aloud. And today it was a lot of thinking aloud as well. Sometimes I wanted to tell you stuff, but, you know, so, like, people who know more about certain aspects should. And this is something as well, like, you could teach science through this, like medicine, like physics, like ballistics, for example, like throwing, calculations. You could take biology. Like, these are things you could structure classes around. And that is probably really, like, in educational circles, I'm not sure if people would be in any way accepting of that. Because it's so unconventional in a way. Like it's so weird because we do analyze stories like Faust or Shakespeare. But why not do these here? And I don't know. Because, as I said, stories are one of the most important things we have. And for me, the story is the most important thing that exists. I believe that, what am I a slave to? I think I'm a slave to stories. I think I am. I think that's my core. Because it is something that always reminds me to take other perspectives. It always reminds me of brilliant ideas, of human conundra, of nature, of science, and I love them. And I think I will leave it at that. I could, as I said, talk more. But I will call it quits. I hope you have a great day. I don't know how many are still here. So, and again, tell me where you think I err. Like, again, these are not truths I say. They are not. They're my opinions. Always consider that. Even if I say it is like this, I will try to provide. Like, if I base it on, like, for example, psychological evidence, and if I say it, I'm pretty sure that it's very likely something that is very, very adequate to say, and that is probably very universally applicable as a statement. But other stuff, I will just tell you my opinion and thought. I am not going to tell you the truths of the world. Like, of course I'm not. I know that is clear probably to you. I hope it is. I hope that's clear. It's just opinions that I might err all the time. Please keep that in mind. But that's the good thing. If I do, I learn. So, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're still here and comment on what you thought, and see you around. Bye.
He looked into my eyes, and I almost threw up from guilt. I'm angry and sad, but I also know that something like this happens every few generations. It happens to remind us that something endures in the mountains, deep within the rocks, that the past is still here, resting beneath the hills, and occasionally it sends its nightmares up to us.
If you enjoyed this little tease, consider checking out my new story, The Waters That Hated. It is available now for free on Vidith22's YouTube channel. Link is pinned in the comments. Thank you for watching and take care.